You're awful low in it. What's that?
Last Minute Man here with just a quick reminder that the video you are about to watch is in no way, shape, or form a recommendation of what to do. This is just something we did for your viewing entertainment, and we're doing it so you don't have to.
Don't try this at home. I'm what you call a professional.
Last Minute Man, and we're back here today on the range. I'm with my good buddy, Mr. Obvious. And Mr. Obvious, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about primers today. What will work in what cartridge?
Yep. I get asked a lot, can I use a non-Magnum primer and a Magnum caliber? Or do I have to use a Magnum? Can I use a pistol primer in a rifle? Or a rifle primer in a pistol? Or should it even be done?
Yeah.
And so this is some stuff we're going to answer today, and we're going to show you some chronograph data. And we want to mention real quick, if you want to see this in its unedited format, you'll have to switch over to Rumble and watch it, because there's certain things YouTube will not allow us to show. It's against their guidelines, and we don't want to upset Big Brother. So we will we'll show you the rest of it over on Rumble. But Mr. Obvious, anything you want to add?
We're going to add all these bullets we have here. And Last Minute Man flashed the picture up. These has been weighed out, the exact powder. I even weighed the bullets, the same bullet weight per bullet weight, to make sure we can get as close to the speed as possible for accuracy through the chronograph.
Right.
So everything is weighed dead right on it.
And we're going to do everything, the same barrels, shooting the same bullets. And like I said, we've got some Magnum primers comparing to regular primers. And then we've also got these rifle primers in a pistol and pistol primers in a rifle. So we'll see what happens. All right. So without further ado, let's get to some shooting. All right there, Mr. Obvious. What are we starting out with?
We are starting out with a 9mm.
And this one's standard primer is going to be your first shot.
STD, standard. And it has a Hornady 115 grain XTP.
Okay.
And this one also, Hornady XTP.
And that's a Magnum primer.
And this is a Magnum primer and a 9mm. So we're going to see if there's any difference in the velocity.
All right.
And I am running tight group in both of them.
Okay, Mr. Obvious. Hopefully this works in the first shot, because you only loaded 2.
Yeah. So sometimes you get an error on the chronograph. You all know how it works. It's used the chronograph. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But we'll still.
We tested it with the 22. It should be working.
Yeah, hopefully. So this is the standard load.
Standard load. Oh, awesome. Now 1,292 feet per second. So that was a pretty stout 9mm there.
Yeah.
All right, now let's shoot that Magnum. And
1305.
But yeah, we got 1305 on that one. So there was a significant difference, I'd say.
There's a little bit of difference in speed just using a Magnum primer and a 9mm.
Yep. All right, let's move on. All right, so we're using the trusty Smith & Wesson Combat Magnum to test out our 357 mag bullets. And again, we've got a standard and a Magnum primer, and we'll see what the difference is. All right, we're starting with the standard primer. Let's see what kind of speed we get. 1,317. All right, now we're going with the Magnum primer. Let's see how she does. 1,246. That's interesting. Okay, Mr. Obvious, what we got next here?
Okay, we got an Encore here in a 44 Magnum, and our loads is standard load pistol, a Magnum load pistol, and a large rifle.
All right, hey, Mr. Obvious, standard?
Standard, STD, standard.
STD says.
Standard
Lord
pistol.
God, man.
Are you ready?
I am ready, good sir.
All righty.
Whoosh. Oh, we got the bad boy here. It is 1,698 feet per second. So let's move on to the next one.
This is going to be a Magnum primer pistol.
Woohoo! Man, that did feel hotter.
1,790.
So we moved. It ain't like that 357 Magnum primer. It actually gave us an increase there.
Yep. Now we're going to use a rifle large.
Oh no, you can never do that though.
Oh, you can't?
No, well, I've been told that you cannot do that. Let's see.
Let's see if it'll work though.
Yikes! But it actually slowed you down.
1,699.
So 1699, and that was with a pistol primer or a rifle primer. Right?
Large rifle primer. Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on. If you're watching this on Rumble, you'll see the next process. All right. So 357 maximum time, and we got a standard primer and a Magnum primer. Hopefully, we get better results than we got with that 357 mag. That was weird.
Yeah.
But let's get out here and see what we do. So we're having issues with this chronograph. We had to go back and reload another one of these. So it apparently only likes to work with Mr. Obvious shooting. So we're gonna let him shoot. He's gonna go out to the 100, and we'll see if we don't get any data.
This is a standard primer.
Standard primer.
Okay, you ready?
Ooh, good shot. That is
2,009 feet per second.
2009, and I got your Magnum here. But that is Boogie Oogian. And here's your Magnum. Okay.
Magnum load.
Magnum load. Well, Magnum primer. Same load.
Yeah, Magnum primer. Are you ready?
I'm ready, good sir. Woohoo! 2,093 feet per second. So, but they're both shooting very accurate. Spot on. All right, Mr. Obvious. What do we got here with the wonderful 308 and a SIG Cross?
All right.
What are we shooting?
We are shooting just a regular large rifle primer. We're going to be shooting a large rifle Magnum primer, and we're going to be shooting a large pistol standard primer.
This will be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Yeah, because you hear a lot of people talking, oh, you can't do this or you can.
Yeah.
I will say this, anything we are showing you here really is not the proper thing to do, do so at your own risk.
Yeah.
But we're doing it for you so you don't have to.
Yeah, so the large pistol seated a little bit deep, so hopefully we get a good strike on that primer.
Let's see what happens here, good sir. Okay, Mr. Obvious, so we've loaded up the 3 rounds. We're starting out with the standard rifle first, then we're going to go to the Magnum rifle, then we'll go to the standard pistol primer. And Mr. Obvious is going to shoot at the 100-yard mark.
All right. Get her down here, see if we got this.
All right.
I'm going to zoom it out a little bit.
He's got that high-powered scope on there.
Yeah, I don't need that much power at that distance. Okay, this is a standard just rifle load. Ready?
All right, let's see what she did.
2369.
2,369. I'm going to zoom in there so they can see. I can just stand back here. Look at that. All right, now let's do the next one.
This is a Magnum primer. Ready?
Yes, sir. All right, now you were off on that one.
Yep.
That was 2,363. So you got the same reading.
Large pistol.
All right, large pistol is last. This is the one I'm most curious about. 2,247 feet per second. So there was a difference in that.
Yep, that scope hit my hat and knocked it off.
But yeah, not too bad. Interesting data.
Yes, it is.
Let's get back for an AAR. And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Roberts?
Oh man, we got some pretty good information that
I thought it was cool
I don't
data.
think it's been done. This data is neat, and what you can,
Yeah.
what you can't use. You're getting a strain, stuff like that, and
Right.
you know, you got to put meat on the table, and so what can you do, and what you can't do.
Especially with as complicated as things are to get today. That's kind of why we were doing this, because you may be in a situation where you only have large pistol primers and you're wanting to see if you can use them. Now, I will preface all this by saying it is not recommended.
No,
You know, can it be done? I think we proved it can be, but we did it so you don't have to. We're what you call professionals here. So
I've been
So,
reloading for 35 years, so
we kind of knew what
Yeah.
results we were going to get, but we got some results that were actually quite interesting.
Mhm.
So we'll start just in order, and we'll start with that 9mm.
yeah.
And those were just 115 grain.
150 grain. Now, what you need to know, I did weigh all the powder.
Mm-hmm.
I weighed even the bullets. The bullets is exact weight. So if it's
So-
115 grain bullet, so if it turned up like 115.1 grain, the other bullet I picked out 115.1.
Right.
So they're all the
he
bullets.
did everything as precise and consistent, and I think we got some video of you doing that as
Yep.
well.
Yes.
So if you happen to be watching this on Rumble, we show you our process there, and we can tell you exactly what our powder charge is, but YouTube does not allow that, so we're not going to do that here. But so let's just go on down the list, and we started with the 9mm, but we got on the standard shot, it was 1,292 feet per second, and with the Magnum primer, we got 1,305 feet per second, and that is with the identical powder charge and the identical bullet, which gave us a huge number.
Yeah.
What was the difference, Mr. Roberts?
The difference was 13 feet per second.
Now that ain't gonna make or break you. I mean,
Yeah.
you know. So and you know, we're only shooting one of each. I'd love to sit out here and shoot 10 of each, but you know, it all costs money, guys. So you know, we're giving you limited data, but this is as close to being scientific as we can get here.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we got some good data.
Mhm.
So that was with the 9mm. So you're looking at 13 feet per second difference, which isn't enough difference to really matter. That's within the margin of error, really. So we'll go down to the 357 Magnum. And what we got there with the standard was 1,317 feet per second. And then, oddly enough, we went to the Magnum and we got 1,246 for a difference in the favor of the standard primer of 71 feet per second.
Yep.
Now that one kind of did surprise me.
Yeah, it did surprise me too.
Yeah.
Everything's weighed out perfect.
And it could be that was a dud. You know, it happens. You know, sometimes your primers aren't as hot. There's other factors with the chronograph. You know, I mean, not all chronographs agree, but we're using the same chronograph here for all of our data. So,
And we was using a wheel gun. It's got a cylinder that rotates. Maybe if we used the same cylinder and put that bullet in, we might have come up with something different. Who
maybe. I
knows?
mean, it's weird how that works,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just the head spacing and everything.
Yeah, anything can be
Yeah.
just a little different.
So, but that's the data we got today. Now, next, we went to the 44 Magnum, and we were using a 240 grain Hornady XTP bullet in those.
Mhm.
And the standard charge was 1,698 feet per second.
Yep.
So that was actually pretty hot. I was happy to see that. The Magnum charge was 1,790 feet per second. So that was a significant difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the rifle primer was 1,699 feet per second, giving us roughly the same data. So the maximum speed we got was the 1790. So between that and the standard primer was 92 feet per second difference, which is a difference.
Mhm.
And then that between the rifle was 93 feet per second difference. And so, yeah, you were within 1 foot per second between a standard primer and the rifle primer.
Kind of interesting, ain't it?
That is interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, you would have thought, I mean, I would have thought the rifle primer would be more akin to the Magnum primer, you know,
Yeah.
and as far as what it would do. But 90 feet per second, I'd say that's pretty significant.
That
92,
is.
93 feet. So that to me, you're talking quite a difference actually.
Mhm.
When you're talking out of a short barrel like that. Now we move from there to the 357 Maximum. And there we've got, with the standard primer, we had 2,009 feet per second. And with the Magnum primer, we had 2,093 feet per second with a difference of 84 feet per second.
Yep.
Which again, when you're getting over 50 feet per second difference, when you're talking that tight of a margin, it is a difference. I mean, is it going to be the difference between killing your deer or not? No, I don't think so.
No.
I think 84 feet per second.
84, yeah, they don't
You're
touch you that much.
You're pretty close, and for that matter, out of the Magnum there. Now, if you're talking 92 feet per second out of a 9mm, that's a huge difference because a 9mm is pretty lackluster, and that's just any handgun calibers, really, when you're comparing it to rifle loads and stuff. But when we get to these 357 mags, 44 mags, the Maximum, now you're getting into pushing these rifle powers.
Yeah. Mhm.
So 84 feet per second out of a rifle, not a big deal.
No.
Out of a standard handgun, that would be a huge deal. But now we go on to the 308 and this lovely Sig Cross. And we shot the standard primer
Mhm.
was 2,369 feet per second. The Magnum primer was slower at 2,363, so it was 6 feet per second difference. And again, we got that twice now with two different, the Magnum, 357 Magnum, and with the 308.
Yeah.
So, and that's in a bolt action, so everything was as consistent as it could be. And then we went to the pistol primer, large pistol, and that gave us 2,247 feet per second, which is 122 foot per second difference, which is a lot.
Quite a bit in a rifle, but a rifle that big, that much.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but yeah, it is a lot.
You're still going to kill your deer,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah. Now, I did have a little issue loading that 308 with a pistol primer. The first one I put in, it in a brand new case, it kind of crunched up the primer.
Yeah.
So then I went to a used case, and that, where the pressure, it's probably swelled out the primer pocket just a little bit. It went right on in. But a new case, you may have trouble. You get a couple fired brass.
And we also mic'd them. You
yeah.
mic'd every one of these, and actually the large pistol was a hair smaller.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like the pistol's like 4 or 5 thousandths shorter, and it's taller.
Roger.
But the diameter was within a thousandth. So
and that's something you've really got to be careful with. If you were going to load a large rifle primer into a pistol, if it's protruding out too far, you can really wreak havoc on your pressures.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could even stop the cylinder from turning if it's a revolver and that primer is sticking out too far. So definitely use common sense when you're doing this, and you really shouldn't be doing it. But in an emergency scenario, yeah, you can load them.
Yeah, I mean,
it can be done.
You can't get primers, so now you see they will work.
It can work, and you're gonna get ignition. We didn't see really anything radical difference wise. The pistol primer in the 308 was our largest margin of difference.
Difference there,
and it was different. We thought this would be an interesting video to bring you. It's something I've always been interested in, especially after the whole lockdown and all that. Suddenly you couldn't get primers, you couldn't get reloading materials. And Mr. Obvious and I traveled clear across the state to a place that had primers, and we paid more than we wanted to pay, but we had to make sure we had them.
Yeah.
And golly, I went from paying $30 per 1,000 was the average I was paying when I got into reloading, to now they're like $90, $100 per 1,000.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've done everything they can to just kick us square in the nuts.
Yeah.
It's just supply and demand, things like that. But I think a little of it is gouging. I do. I think they charge it because they can.
One thing you can always remember, I've been around on this earth a long time, when you see minimum wage go up,
Oh, yeah.
everything else follows.
Inflation follows.
Yeah,
and
so-
we're in a high inflation time right now, and yeah, if it costs more to pay your employees to work, your goods are going to cost
Yeah.
more. I mean, that's just inevitable.
So the minimum wage people actually didn't get it.
No, it doesn't.
So
it looks
They
good on
spent
paper.
all their money back at the store buying eggs.
Yeah, it looks good on paper when they do that. I'll tell you the biggest thing that I've noticed over the years in my lifetime was fuel costs. When fuel costs goes up, the cost of everything goes up.
Everything falls.
And it's all, you know, you got to pay the piper at some point, I guess. And it's
all a big loophole for them.
yeah. So we're in wild times, but you know what? We will adapt, overcome, and improvise, and we will make things work. We love to shoot. We love to do these videos on YouTube and Rumble. We love the feedback we get. I've met some really cool people on here that have given me some excellent information, and we hope we're doing something interesting to kind of give back there. And you know, we just have fun with this, folks, and we enjoy doing it, and gives us an excuse to get out here and waste some ammo and
Yeah.
have a good time. And hopefully you enjoyed watching. And is there anything else we want to add, Mr. Robbins?
Nope. No, we're getting kind of long on the video anyway, so we don't want to run you off. So
Right.
but we want you to watch.
Well, with that, everybody, remember, keep your knife sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man. Follow us on Rumble. I dare you.